Hello, everybody. We are back again here with Uncle Jim. Well, Q2 over there, right? And we are going to be talking a little bit about these trees that we see on the track all over the place. Now, I'm looking around, and these trees are pretty awesome, pretty detailed. Why don't you come over here and tell me about some of these here?
Well, there's pine trees and deciduous trees, but they were bought mostly at after Christmas sales because they had snow on them. And I flocked them, painted them green, and I can show you what the flocking does. I planted, most of the trees I grew in my backyard, believe it or not. There's a plant called Autumn Joy sedum. And this plant is bulletproof, and in the fall, it has a head on it that looks just like a tree. And I say it's bulletproof because it's sedum is not deciduous. What's it called?
A succulent. Right?
Succulent, yeah, because you can squeeze it and water comes out. So you hardly ever have to water it as long as it has a sunny location. I'd love to show you a picture of it, but it's easy to grow.
Yeah.
And all these trees were made from that. All these trees in here. In fact, I think I showed your dad on another video. My little trees.
Yeah, we got a whole collection of them.
Well, these were the sedum, and you can see it in the raw form right here. And I even take other plants like this, and I can add a little bit of cotton, and then make trees out of them. I'll show you how I do that.
Yeah.
But these are the real little ones. I can make them as small as bushes, and some very big. Now these other ones in this area, the great big ones. I went to Frankenmuth, and there was a Christmas wreath. And I was looking at the Christmas wreath. It was on sale for like $11. And it had these branches in it, and I thought, you know what? It's worth $11 to cut it apart and try to make trees out of it. And then with a little bit of flocking to match the other trees, they ended up working out perfect.
Really?
And, they're just bouncy enough that when guys hit them, they don't break them. A lot of these trees at the hobby shops that you buy, I'm not knocking hobby shops or store-bought trees, but a pine tree like this would cost $7 to $8 at a hobby shop.
Easily.
And by finding these snow-covered trees that are supposed to be for snow villages after Christmas, and then doing a little work to them, it's why I only got $300 in this track.
Yeah, that's again, you gotta hunt for those deals and innovate, right?
Let me show you the flocking and how I go about it.
Let's learn how to do this.
I went ahead and lined the paint booth, and again, it doesn't have to be a paint booth. It can be your backyard, because the mastic I use to hold the flocking on is sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky. And this is the flocking that I was telling you about. It's Woodland Scenics Coarse Turf. This right here may cost $12, but it's a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I do, I don't go through these. Notice here that there's light green, medium green, and dark green. And the reason I got 3 different ones is when you're looking at the track, it's like looking down at a layout from a helicopter. And when you see pictures from up in the air, the trees are different tones. They're always different colors. So by using, mixing and matching these different colors, it makes it look more realistic. They don't all blend in together. And then by going about giving them a last dusting with hairspray and a lighter color like these guys, it ends up looking like it's budding.
Yes.
I'll show you. These, I was telling you about the sedum that I grow in the backyard. That's what these look like right here. And notice that they get great branch formation, and they're pretty stiff. They're not too brittle. Now the seed pods will want to come off, but that's not a big deal. The glue's going to hold that on. It'll make a little bit of a mess for you when you begin to make these, but it's fun to make these. I'll show you how.
Awesome.
I'm going to take this guy, and let's take 2 of them. Let's take a little one and a big one. And mind you, you can cut this to as big as you want. Also, I wanted to show you what's cool about growing it yourself. You can pick up ones that are arched like this. You know why that's handy? Because when trees grow against each other like this, it works in your favor. And you can have that go over the racetrack, and you get more scenery for the space. Follow me?
Yes, I do. That's
so
awesome.
let's go ahead and do these. These guys I get from Joanne Fabrics or Michaels in the area where they have old stuff and it's discounted.
Discounted.
So
yeah.
instead of paying, like $8 or $9, pay $3.
Yeah, there you go. There's the sticker on
now
there. Now
some of these come out with a gray tint or a brown tint, and some are very clear. Like this guy right here is totally clear. And the difference that makes is if I use this glue and I glue them on and a little bit of the gray shows, then I got to go back with hairspray and spray it on and then dust it with a little bit more green to cover that up.
Right.
But in this case, we're going to use one that's perfectly clear. And that's what I recommend, the Elmer's Multipurpose or this extra strength adhesive. That's more expensive, and they're both clear. So let me show you how I do that. I need to be ready though, because while this is wet, we're going to put the green stuff on it.
Right.
So in this case, we're going to take a dark green, okay? I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to find a tray like this. I'm going to pour some in there. And it doesn't matter how much. I mean, I can use a real lot. I got to loosen it up there. I can use a real lot if I want, because we're going to funnel it back into this.
Yes.
So I'm going to take this this glue, and give this a shot, and I'm going to go way back there because I need this area clear to work. See, it's clear. Doesn't have too bad of a scent for us. And then I'm going to bring this up to here, and I'm going to carefully put it in and roll it, and notice I'm trying not to get it to the bottom, Ryan, because I don't want the bottom branches to have leaves on them. Because that's not what happens in the real world.
That's true, yeah.
And then up like this, take a look at it, and it still let me shake that off just a little bit. It still allows you to have brown spots and branches showing, which is more like the real trees, right?
Yes.
The ones you pay $8 to $20 for at the hobby shops are just a big chunk of green, and this comes out looking more realistic. I forgot to say we should take these little scabs off there. Doesn't that look like a real trunk?
It does.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to get this out of the way. Don't make the mistake that I sometimes make and start spraying the glue. What did I do with the glue? Here it is. Here it is. So since this is clear, I wouldn't do this with the gray or brown stuff. I'm going to give this another shot, and I'm going to help it stick on, just like that. Now, this is all one color, right? And trees don't grow with all one color. So what I'm going to do is pick up a light green. Could you open that and pour some into that tray?
Yeah, let's do it.
And, it hasn't been used yet.
Well, that's fresh.
Yeah. I made a nativity for my sister, and I used up the other stuff, and she bought this for me.
Oh, very nice of her.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So I'm gonna take this right here, and now I got to be a little bit more careful with what I do with this here. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I could if I wanted to, and I'm going to just dress it a little bit in the areas that I think are a little bit sparse. Now, another thing that can be done here, that begins to look like new growth. You see that?
Yes.
Like the branch broke.
In that lighter color.
So I'll show you how we put this away. Whoa! See what that glue does?
That's why we put the newspaper down.
Yeah, that's why the newspaper went down.
Make sure
So
you
we'll
guys
take
do
care of that. I don't know, guys. You think we need to do a little one? I think people get the idea just with
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
But you can do little ones. You can cut them shorter and make bushes out of them. This guy should go out to dry. But, in fact, I prepped a couple. Let's go ahead and put this right here, clamp this up. Now, normally I'd have a block of styrofoam if I have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I'd cut them to the length I want, and I'd stick them into the styrofoam.
Just stick them in.
So let's work with this one here, which is already dried where that guy was.
Yes.
What I'll do now is I'll take some hairspray, and I'll get 2 tones of green. This pink grass and this guy right here. Now what this is going to represent is new growth coming up on the tips. I need to tell you that sometimes these grow more sparse than this is a beautiful tree. They grow more sparse, and I found that pencil sharpener shavings.
Yeah, get a shot of that there.
Pencil sharpener shavings, which I save everything. Pencil sharpener shavings dropped into it, add to making it brown. In fact, here's Italian spices that when I go to garage sales, if there's some sort of spices, there's everything. It smells great, and it makes good ground cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and also this is dry autumn joy seed. And remember I said that this plant's called autumn joy?
Yeah.
When it dries out after a year, the leaves can be just crushed with your hand, and it makes this nice yellow looking powder. Now we can try some of this. I took, these were, what are those Starbucks drinks?
Those
coffee drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And I punched holes in the top.
You can see the logo there even.
Oh yeah, you can see the Starbucks logo. So I punched holes in the top, and we're able to sprinkle with it. So let's go ahead and use some of this. Actually, most people won't have that. They'll be able to buy one of these, say burnt grass or this Earth Blend Fine Turf.
Yeah.
We're going to use that, okay? You know what? I need to shorten this because it's too big to work with, and I'm not going to make a tree that big.
No.
So I'm going to come over here and get a pair of scissors. I'm going to lop it off to about, I'd say about like that. That way I can work with it better. So I take the burnt grass, I practice with it, make sure that it will pour. See, it's like dust. And I shoot the hairspray on it. Now that's going to smell good.
You're right.
Wet it down real good. And the hairspray helps harden everything, so it's not a bad idea to do that. Whoa, Nelly. And then I take this and I can dust it. And you'll see it start to come to life. You see that? Wow. It begins to look like it's got fresh little buds starting to grow.
It's transforming.
And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much.
Look at that.
So here we got a tree that at the hobby shop or on the internet would for sure cost $15 or more.
Easily.
And how long did that take us to do? I don't think it took us 5 minutes, did it, guys?
Yeah. 5-10 minutes at the most.
Yeah. So we'll let this dry, and if you're not happy with it, you can give it more coats of the hairspray. And I don't hesitate to use dull coat on everything I do. Remember we talked about that earlier?
Yeah, that's right.
This Tester's dull coat, I wish I had one that had the full label for you. The Tester's dull coat makes any sort of shine that's on it. You see a little twinkle to it?
I do,
It takes away from the realism.
Yeah.
You shoot this tomorrow when this is dry and it goes flat, and it makes a beautiful tree.
That's amazing.
A beautiful tree. And in terms of buying these came with cakes. You can use 2 pieces of cardboard that you tape together, and then I got a funnel and I just put the stuff back in there.
Just funnel it back in there, waste not, right?
Yeah.
That's what if you're funneling it back in there, this truly is a lifetime supply.
Oh, it's a lifetime supply. And the reason this one was new is because I used so much on my sister's nativity.
Right.
The nativity I made her was as big as this table.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's something else. So we'll set this up to dry. Normally, again, I have a styrofoam piece. You know, remember I was telling you about the trees having snow on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the same technique I use to disguise that. First I paint it green and get the snow covered with green paint.
Right.
Then I'll take this same flocking and use the exact same method to cover it.
Huh.
I don't know if I think you saw, you know what though? Did I ever tell you why this is called Northline Raceway?
You never did. No, I want to hear about that.
I told you that I'm into getting trees that are as cheap as I can get, right? I would take my mother to Christmas sales the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
And we went to Joann Fabrics, and there was these Christmas Village trees that were, 75% discounted, but they had snow on them.
Huh.
So I said, well, let me look at this. Maybe I'll take a couple. Maybe I can spray green paint on them because the price was right. They were less than $1 a piece, right?
Right after
So I took
Christmas.
them home. For the next 2 years, for my birthday, for Christmas, all I got was trees. She went to every Joann Fabric and bought hundreds of pine trees. So I had all these pine trees, and I was going to call the track Red Line Raceway. Yeah. So I changed it to North Line Raceway just so that it has an excuse why it's got so many pines.
That's a great
But
story.
it worked out with the rocks, too.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I mean, she went around to every Joann Fabrics in the area. You probably got boxes of those Christmas trees, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Man, well, what a cool process it was.
You know, something I didn't cover is in HO scale tracks, they harden everything with a mixture of 50% white glue, 50% water. And I'll go back to these trees so that if the kids hit them and flick them, they're a little bit stiffer, and I'll drip that on there. When we talk about the gravel and how I did that, we can cover that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you heard it here first, folks. I mean, you can reuse everything from pencil shavings to, what else you got there? Dried Italian spices, and you can make some realistic looking trees out of all that there. So, thank you once again.
And it's fun doing.
Yeah,
it's fun to make them, and I'm having a lot of fun showing you.
It's fun watching it. I'll tell you that much. I have learned more about making models and trees and all that today than I have ever before. So thank you so much for joining us again. Okay. We'll be back soon enough to do a ton more of these, I'm sure. Well, if you like this sort of content, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back here for sure. Thank you again, Uncle Jim.
Okay, buddy.
Appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right.